It's insane. I cannot, nor did I even imagine that it would go the direction it went. Truthfully, when it first appeared here in China 6 months ago or so, and my beautiful wife Lynn came home with boxes and was opening them up, I thought, oh, this is interesting. I started seeing it pop up in other markets, started to see some news stories. I figured it was going to be a 3-month thing, and then people would forget about it. I was completely wrong. I'm having family members talking to me about it. My sister sent me a text going, it's official, Labubu craze is now in America all over the place. It's fantastic. Let me start with that. I always get excited whenever I see some part of Chinese pop culture make its way into what we call global zeitgeist. People talking about it, getting excited about it. But keep in mind, TikTok's a Chinese company, right? I mean, TikTok's been around for over 10 years now in the United States. So it's not as though the Chinese don't have the ability to be able to create popular culture that is in demand globally. I heard a great line talking about pop culture, though, which is someone asked the question, why doesn't China do more to export its pop culture globally? And somebody responded and said, popular culture is not exported, it's enjoyed. Meaning it's something that needs to be more from an appreciation of what it is, and then it grows through social commentary. Now, when I was thinking about the subject of Labubu, I had to stop for a minute and think, okay, there's more than just Labubu. And in fact, you go back a year from now, and I may have discussed this before, but it's worth mentioning again. The video game Black Myth Wukong, which came out a year ago, it, to this day, continues to be massively popular. There was a big event, I forget where, but in the United States about a month ago, where the company that built Black Myth announced that they were doing a new, what's called a DLC, a downloaded content version. So they're expanding on it. Everybody's excited about it. So there was that already. And then, I mean, we have to talk about what I'm doing right here, Red Note. Red Note is a massive pop culture phenomenon that happened earlier this year as well, as foreign, or Americans I should say, decided to look for an alternative to TikTok because they were concerned that there was going to be a ban of the TikTok platform. Interesting aside, by the way, now that supposedly the TikTok deal has been solved and that the American and the Chinese government have reached an agreement that the Americans can now control the American platform, TikTok, not international, just America. I'm going to be very interested to see if the foreigners come back to Red Note. There are many people who have conflicting outlooks on what's going to happen to the TikTok platform now that it's no longer part of the global platform. Is it going to be as good? Is the algorithm going to be as useful to be able to direct traffic? And I think we can all agree that the experience of all of these so-called TikTok refugees earlier this year, when they went to Red Note, was very positive. But you needed to be able to build up your viewership and everything else. So I think Red Note is another classic example. The question for me, though, really comes down to what's next. I think Labubu is great. I think it's representative of a unique dynamic within the culture here. We can talk about Chinese movies like Ne Zha 2, and then the more recent one, I forget the Chinese name, but it's called Nobody, that cartoon movie. But these movies, interestingly enough, they didn't find an audience outside of China. I'm not sure why. But then you have, anime coming out of Japan or K-pop coming out of Korea. So anything that is pop culture related, that is China-centric, I always get excited for it, especially now. Wasn't something I really focused on before, But just seeing the inventiveness, the uniqueness, and then the appreciation within the global market for something that is homegrown China, it's just awesome. Now, to Labubu, how long is it going to last? I don't know, but I've already been wrong. It's lasted a lot longer than I expected, and I suspect it's going to last. Maybe there'll be a movie. That's what I'm waiting for. And then we'll see what happens. And then we also have to think about Pop Mart. What is going to be the next new deal out of Pop Mart? So it's an exciting time, and I'm glad that Labubu has broken through into the American marketplace and that my family is talking about it.